Hey, did you know that the Torture Pod has merch? Yeah. Over at redbubble.com/people/torturepod, we have a whole bunch of different items that you can wear, adorn on your phone or your computer or your car to show your love for torture. We have Brazen Bull t-shirts. You can have the torture logo on a mug. Guild Array on Hat Day on a hat, if that's what you choose. Welcome to Latumba shower curtains. I mean, literally, anything you want. iPhone cases with sort your fucking life out on them. I mean, how much better does it get? And remember, all Pride merch sold, profits go directly to the Trevor Project. So you're also helping people in the process of showing your love for the podcast. So go to redbubble.com/people/torturepod. And as all the kids these days say, get your fit on, bro. I don't know if that's what they say or not. I'm not cool. The subject of today's episode is a device that wasn't made so much for killing or for extracting information, but purely to cause pain and embarrassment to soldiers from the 1600s through the 1800s. Consisting of just a few pieces of wood, this contraption could be used to punish military personnel for everything from drunkenness to theft. And in all honesty, you didn't even need the actual apparatus to perform this harsh form of punishment. Just a nearby fence, or hell, even a sawhorse. Just throw in a few cannonballs, maybe a pitcher of beer and a sword to hold, and you can have yourself a perfectly viable makeshift tool of torment. And who knows, maybe the experience will inspire you to open one of America's first established taverns, with a little dark humor in the name. Today we give you the Spanish Donkey. I'm Kevin Young.
And I'm Mike Honcho. I spread my butt cheeks for Playground magazine.
And this is Torture. I got 2 knives in my leg.
I need to watch that movie again, though.
That's so good. You ate first, you last. The hell are you talking about, boy? Second? Fourth? Hell, there's even fifth.
Oh, it's such a great film, though. It's especially because I watched Days of Thunder there recently. I was like, as soon as I watched it, I was like, God damn, I need to watch Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
But it's talking to Alison about things about bromances, or not bromances, rom-coms there recently, and I said it to her as well. I was like, do you ever watch I Love You, Man? Which is, to me, it's one of the best fucking comedies going. But
yeah, you've told me you love that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it forever.
Like, that's a rom-com. Because it's a
Technically,
bromance rom-com, and so is Talladega Nights, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess I can see that as a rom-com.
It is a bromance.
Yeah, it's a bromance.
Yeah, that's like Step Brothers is as well. So.
Yeah.
So, but it's a guy's rom-com, you know. I know, Smudge. I know. Kevin's being very mean, isn't he?
Panthers.
God, Smudge. She's rubbing against the microphone. She hasn't seen me in 30 minutes.
Oh, well, heaven forbid. All right, well, Dan, let's take you back to the 17th century Holy Roman Empire. You are a soldier stationed in one of the many German states, and you are, big surprise here, drunk off your ass. Yeah.
Tracks.
Now, while in your drunken state, you decide to pick a fight with a fellow soldier. You begin berating him verbally until you ultimately punch him in the face. You are taken down by your other compatriots and hauled off to the military jail. And when you wake from your stupor the next day, you realize that you will have a trial to go along with that hangover you're sporting. You are taken in front of regimental officers and accused by the soldier you hit and others that happen to witness the scuffle. You can't remember anything. All you know is 1 minute you were drinking casually with friends. The next you were waking up in a military guardhouse being told that you were in for a very long day. The officers...
That's kind of very close to home there, Kevin.
Has he been reading my diary? The officers deliver swift judgment. The Strafe wird das Pferd reiten. Or, as punishment, he will ride the horse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Another Tuesday night. Yeah. You are then escorted by guards and marched out before assembled troops. They read your offense out loud, charged and convicted of public drunkenness and striking a fellow soldier. You were then taken over to what they called the horse, a prison-shaped slab of wood with 4 legs sitting high enough in the air so that you need a stool to get on. You straddle this contraption with the top angle digging harshly into your undercarriage. As the discomfort of the seat and the humiliation of the punishment set in, they then make it worse by adding weight to your legs. Your body now just resting on the blunt and rigid corner, but your body now not just resting on the blunt and rigid corner, but being pulled down onto it as well. And to make sure you aren't tempted to use your hands to push down on the horse in order to lift yourself ever so slightly as to give some relief, your commanding officer then hands you 2 cups of liquid, be it water, beer, or wine, to hold over your head or out in front of you or to the sides. And you are told that if you spill even a drop, that they will add either time or weight to your sentence. This was the torture of the Spanish donkey.
The perineum piercer.
Something like that, yeah. Now,
that's all I could think of the whole time was poor perineum.
Oh, it's going to hurt down there. Oh, so
I thought you said prison-shaped for a second. And I know prism.
Prism. Because technically it's not triangle-shaped, because triangles are 2-dimensional. Prism-shaped. Now, as long as you don't spill any liquid and show genuine remorse for your actions, you'll probably only spend 15 or 20 minutes perched atop the device, which isn't, horrible. Now, if you do spill liquid or act unbecoming of a Holy Roman soldier, you could expect to spend upwards of several days upon the horse.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, your taint's pretty much gone after that. There's nothing left.
Tainted my taint.
You'll be walking around doing
butt
that
cheeks for Playground magazine after that.
Doing that pinch thing, trying to pull. Yeah. Now this device had several different names. The French or French Canadians called it the Chevalet, or little horse, or the Chevalet, which means easel. Dutch soldiers called it the Holten Paard, or wooden horse. Holy Roman Empire of Central Europe called it the Das Pferd, or Hosenes Pferd, meaning the horse or wooden horse. Memoirs from the early Civil War refer to it as the Mule, but the most famous and widely used name for it, the name that most English-speaking writers gave it through the 18th and up into the 21st century, and what the Spanish called it, the burro español, or Spanish donkey. They would also call it the cabaleta, or the trestle. Now, of course, like other devices with the word Spanish in front of it, it was called this because of myths attached to the Spanish Inquisition.
But the Spanish themselves called it that, though, so then therefore it's okay, and it's not racist like the Mongolian muzzle. Or whatever the fucking hell they called something else.
Well, it was mostly the English-speaking writers through the 18th up to the 21st centuries that called it that, and I think the Spanish just kind of joined in because that's what it was fucking called. I don't have anything on here about it being used in Spain. Doesn't mean it wasn't used in Spain at some point. But it's the whole part of it being used during the Spanish Inquisition, complete poppycock. Complete and utter poppycock, I say. That wasn't really their thing.
Classic torture history.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. Spanish was more the rack, the boot, scavenger's daughter, stuff like that. It wasn't a whole lot of just have them sit here on
daughter.
Yeah, just have them sit on this little point. Judas Cradle, maybe. But that's going to be a real point that you're going to sit on. So what exactly... Yeah. What exactly was the donkey / horse / mule? Where did it come from? Who was it used on? Well, in the simplest explanation, it was a piece of prism or triangular shaped wood with one of the corners or angles pointed up so that it sat on top of what was essentially a sawhorse. And from what I could find, mostly from museum displays and recreations, there were 2 different kinds that are historically verified and accurate. One with an acute triangle shape with the point coming, with the top coming off with 2 slopes at roughly 45-degree angles, and one that was closer to like a right triangle shape with the point on top coming off with 1 slope and then 1 sheer drop. Either way, the victim was to sit on top of the device, straddling the peak, and the wood dug into the soft, tender flesh of the perineum, the taint, the gooch.
Nice.
Yes.
El Gucho. This is obviously the story, the origins of the gymnast horse thing, is my guess. Because obviously somebody was like, I'm putting my perineum on that, and they started using their hands and spinning around, trying to not put their weight onto it.
He's just spinning around.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it, boss. I ain't gonna do it. Sit him down. Sit him down. Somebody grab him. Go get on that. And they just run up and they flip over the top of it.
It's a guy standing with a card. 8.9.
Who gave him that trampoline to jump over that thing? Personally, I feel like the right angle triangle would be the worst because you have one leg resting on the side, the other one just a sheer drop.
Yeah.
And I think with that, the point's a little pointier, and it digs.
You're
up
not distributing
there.
your weight.
Yeah, it digs way up in
weight.
there. Good.
Yeah.
You start hitting on that tailbone and everything. Yeah, I feel like that one would be the worst.
I'd be like, can I have a round one, please? If there's
you have any in a hexagon shape, maybe, or how many angles can we get on this thing? The more the merrier.
It's a dodecahedron.
Now, the way this instrument of torment came to be is much like several other devices of torture we've covered on this show. Also,
some guy was being an asshole.
That's what we don't really know. We do know, unlike the Iron Maiden or the Pair of Anguish through military records, and this was primarily a military punishment, that this apparatus did indeed exist and was indeed used. Unfortunately, the military didn't keep the same kind of records as medieval dungeons, and they were a lot more aloof as to the specific crimes and severity of the punishment soldiers were subject to. It was more like Private so-and-so was caught trying to desert his post, was found guilty after a trial, and forced to sit upon the horse, donkey, mule, until his punishment was concluded. As we covered before, I can't remember which episode it was. In medieval dungeons, they actually kept very good records of everything that happened. So,
yeah, I remember you saying that. I'm trying to remember which one it was now.
Oh God, it could have been probably maybe the rack.
I think that might be right.
Yeah, it's possibly. So, what we have to go by, and this is the most plausible theory, is that it slowly evolved from early military hazing. It's possible that in the armies in the 1600s Europe, and probably even sooner, that new recruits could have gone through a type of initiation ritual of having to straddle across a fence to prove their worth and bond over a common rite of passage. It wouldn't be a large step to go from an army brother's hazing to a full-blown punishment. Hey, remember how bad it hurt for those few minutes on top of that fence? That'd be a good way to punish them too. Something like that. It's also a very good possibility that it goes much further back than even that. In fact, the whole idea of trial by fire of fence sitting probably came from the medieval practice of forcing laborers, soldiers, and criminals to straddle narrow beams, rails, or sawhorses as punishment. A fairly informal use of correction that was used for centuries was more than likely just standardized into military disciplinary practices. It's probably a combination of the two. They used to do this to punish people. We use it to haze people. Now we're going to use it to punish people.
See, it's one of those ones that we kind of, I think, I certainly keep pointing out every time it happens. It's the simple, effective method. Right. It's there's not an awful lot of thought needs to be put into the fact that we all know sitting on a triangle is going to hurt an awful lot. Like, you know what I mean? It's I'm just waiting now for the day we talk about torture device that's designed. When do you ever see the whole thing? If you sit on a bicycle, go cycling, and there's no seat on it, and you forget you're sitting it. I'm waiting for a torture device that has that because, another simple, effective. We all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think she wants out. God damn it.
Well, Dan takes care of the cat. But it's another one of these that doesn't have like a set inventor or set time it came to be. It just evolved over time. It's not a brazen bull where we have a special story that we can point at, or a scavenger's daughter where we have somebody we could look at to who created it.
Yeah, just kind records or any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of one day it's there, which is
just imagine the guys in the torture room just walking in. Hey, where'd this come from?
Just walking in. Is that new? Yeah, it just came in yesterday.
Like, Bob, you've been to IKEA again.
I put it together. Oh, that could be what it is. They bought a chair, but the guy didn't read the instructions how to put it together. And they're like, well, this is what we got.
Yeah, it was a kitchen table or something.
The scoof and garfen.
That's what it is. It's one of those kitchen tables, when you can fold up the edges and fold them down to make them neater. Yeah, he just did that, but he did it upside down. That's what happened.
But it's odd that this thing just kind of appears over time of how it will kind of stop being used almost the same way. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
That's aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Now, the earliest clear written record of structured wooden horse punishment was through the Dutch military system, specifically the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam in the 1630s and 40s. One of the victims was a man by the name of Philip Geraerdy, a French fur trader by trade. He was a soldier serving in the Dutch West India Company, stationed in modern Manhattan in the early 1640s. Now, according to Dutch Colonel Council minutes on March 27th, 1642, Philip was charged with being absent from guard duty without leave. Now, no idea why he missed his assignment, but it said that this was a fairly common discipline issue in the colony. Now, he was sentenced, quote, to ride the wooden horse during parade with a pitcher in one hand and a drawn sword in the other. And so through the public parade of approximately 2 hours, Philip sat atop the wooden horse, holding up a pitcher and a sword, possibly with weights like cannonballs or heavy stones or logs attached to his legs. Exposed to this ridicule and humiliation, Dan, a man by our own heart and humor, after he left the army, he would go on to open a tavern and inn in New Amsterdam somewhere in late 1642, early 1643,
nice.
Comically called the Wooden Horse.
Nice.
Yeah. Somewhere near Stone Street, Whitehall area, close to Fort Amsterdam. It'd be one of the earliest named private taverns tied to an individual owner in the colony.
It's interesting. Yeah. You see him walking. You know who he is because you see him walk like this.
Yeah, and every time somebody, why do you walk like that? He just walks into his tavern and slaps the sign.
Yeah.
That, buddy, that.
And every bench seat in it is a triangle.
Yeah. You want a drink here? You got to go through the initiation process, but it does kind of get my goat that one of the first bars owned in America was a Frenchman.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a Frenchman who worked for the Dutch. God, come on, man. Now, as far as the Dutch go, this punishment can be doled out for anything from drunkenness and insubordination to fighting and petty theft, with sentences lasting usually between 1 and 3 hours. Now, from there, we travel north from New Amsterdam, sailing up the Noord River, or the Hudson, to the Dutch settlement of Fort Orange, Albany, New York. Then overland on foot, either through Lake Champlain corridor and Mohawk territory, then paddling north on Lake Champlain to the Richelieu River, or west-northwest into indigenous trade routes, then traveling through a mix of portage trails and canoe routes until you enter into the St. Lawrence River, turning northeast into the fortified heart of New France, or modern-day Quebec and Montreal. Yes, that's right, everybody. To get some more context on a torture method that was used, we have to go to Canada.
Great White North. Oh, yeah.
Now, around the same time the Dutch were using the horse, the French colonies in Canada were using the Chevalet. In the Jesuit Relations, a long-running series of annual reports written by Jesuit missionaries in French Canada describing what they were doing, seeing, and encountering among indigenous peoples and colonial settlements, we find the first non-Dutch mention in a different legal system of a wooden horse-style device being used. It was described as, quote,
a massage chair. Knowing the French. It's like, we're going to torture you now, eh? Stick it in, it's like, oh yeah.
It's a sort of wooden horse with a sharp back, eh? And which soldiers who had committed disorders were placed with cannonballs attached to their feet, you know? You hoser?
They gave them mushroom, and not mushrooms, is going to say fucking, what you call it instead? Marshmallows. That's what I started saying. You wait till right.
You know what I'm talking about? The missionaries speak of a man punished by colonial civil authorities, quote, a public blasphemer was put on the Chevalet. He acknowledged his fault, saying that he had well-deserved punishment. Now, throughout the 17th and 18th centuries across European armies, the Dutch, German, Holy Roman Empire, British, and the Continental armies, the wooden horse appeared in articles of war, garrison punishment logs, military records, and disciplinary manuals. References to soldiers being sentenced to ride the wooden horse for drunkenness, theft, insubordination, or disorderly conduct. One documented example describes a soldier punished for stealing chickens, forced to ride the device for 3 days with 50-pound weights attached to each foot. For chickens.
Yeah. I say they're probably worth more then than they are now. You know?
Yeah, probably. 3 days with 100 pounds on your feet, man. That's a lot, though.
Yeah, I think it's an appropriate punishment for stealing multiple chickens. You know, I think if anything, fair play to him for getting his hands on multiple of them. You can imagine him running around like 6 under each arm.
Under each arm. Don't put me on the horse!
He should have brought the chickens with him to the horse because they could be flapping their wings and lifting them up. You know, because we all know chickens are so great at flying.
Yeah. Miles and miles each day.
Yeah.
It was reportedly used in prison camps and military units during the American Civil War for any form of misconduct. In the memoirs of British adventurer Frederick C. Vernon Harcourt, who claimed service in both the Union and Confederate forces, personally describes experiencing the wooden horse while serving in the Union artillery battery. Now, there are some post-war accounts from veterans' memoirs that describe punishments referred to as the wooden horse, the mule, or riding the rail. which is actually kind of its own thing that goes in conjunction with another form of torture we will cover at some point, tar and feathering. Riding the rail is not the Spanish donkey, but they are similar.
Okay.
But we get that a lot on this show. Two things that aren't the same, but they're similar. That will be one of them whenever we do get around to covering tar and feathering, riding the rail. You'll see that. Look it up on your own. There's Google. Google it. How about you Google it? Not you, Dan.
Oh.
They talk about being forced to straddle a narrow wooden beam or sawhorse-like structure, sometimes with weights added to their legs and left for hours, exposed to humiliation from other soldiers. Now, it should be said that these accounts are not corroborated by military justice records, and details vary widely between tellings, but historians see them as plausible recollections of real informal punishments. So there's not, you can't look at all these memoirs and be like, oh, look, it's the exact same thing over and over. It had sprinklings of the same thing. Like, people alluded to sitting on a piece of wood, pretty much, for a certain amount of time.
Put him on the plank. And I call that planking. And then we have another episode about planking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Or you see somebody like, oh, well, this person was put on the mule. But actually, you go back and it turned out it was just a mule that was just kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Just going around in circles like at a fucking state fair. Just going around, I don't like it anymore, Dad. Take me off. Dan, your Father's Day's coming up. Right around the corner.
For you, yes.
For us, yeah. When is your guys' Father's Day?
I'll have to Google it.
You have to Google it. I would imagine. I imagine it's coming up sometime like June, July-ish.
Oh, it is in June. Yes, 21st.
Yeah. So there you go. So Father's Day is right around the corner, even in Ireland. So say you come into the front room, and there stands your lovely wife and the kid. Got a little box, all dressed up, and you sit down, you open it up, and it's filled with shampoos and conditioners and oils and balms from thebeardstruggle.com.
Nice.
How great of a Father's Day present would that be?
I'd be delighted, especially because I'm all out.
Are ya?
Yeah.
I got one. It was this...
Plumbus.
It's right over there.
Ooh.
So they have this new one. It's got a whole bundle for a whole kit. But it's called Thunderborn.
Okay.
And you know how all the other scents... I mean, I haven't gotten a bad scent from them yet. I've gone through pretty much all of them, just trying them out. But there's one, Thunderborn. Like all the other scents, they have like a floral note, or they'll have like tobacco or patchouli or leather or whatever. This one smells like you just came from the barber shop. It just smells clean. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and I was like, what is this going to smell like? Because it didn't really give me a description. I put it on, and I was like, man, it's like I just got a professional shave. It smells like. It's great. My wife loves it, and it's one of those that really sticks in there. So like the next day when I wake up, it's one of the first things I can smell is just coming off my beard. It's fantastic. I love it.
Nice.
But yeah, just imagine you just open a box for Father's Day, and it's just filled with beard struggle stuff. Everybody out there, men don't want ties for Father's Day. We don't want.
I think I've only ever worn one to weddings in court.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
I don't plan to go to either anytime soon. So.
we don't want all that stuff. We want three things. We want food, we want to be left alone, and we want beard struggle.
Yes, that's pretty
beard
accurate.
Products. I mean, that's pretty accurate. And then just imagine you're sitting there looking at all this beard struggle stuff, and Allison, your lovely wife, leans in real close to your ear and goes, "And I saved 19% at checkout with your exclusive discount code Torture 19. Ooh, send shivers up my spine.
That's even nicer for me because I guarantee it was my bank card that was used.
Here, I bought you all this with your own money.
Yeah.
That's the
American dream.
Kind of how it works. Father's Day coming up. Get your spouse, your loved one, your dad, your brother, your cousin, your boyfriend, your brother, whoever it is. Go to beardstruggle.com. Use our exclusive discount code Torture19 at checkout. Save up 19% off your entire order. Beardstruggle.com. Do what's right for your beard. Do what's right for your face.
Sort your fucking beard out.
So what damage could this really do? Yeah, there would be obvious pain for the duration, but what kind of long-lasting condition could be caused by what was essentially just a form of non-lethal public humiliation? Well, again, we can't 100% know for sure who suffered with what, with very small amount of exceptions. We can go off of what we can go off of is what modern-day physicians tell us about what possible outcomes could be. So you have guaranteed severe soft tissue compression, the taint, inner thigh, pelvic floor being compressed against a hard edge with blood vessels and the tissue being squeezed for possibly hours, would lead to deep bruising or hematomas, crushed soft tissue, swelling in the groin and thighs, and in severe cases, possible skin tearing.
So we go from being a gooch to a gulch, but like in reverse.
How's your gooch? It's a gorge now, man!
Imagine if you had a dose of the squits and then you'd feel it running along it. Creates a natural channel.
But what if you just let out one big juicy fart and it just kind of flutters
Travels.
up?
Yeah, flutters. Starts tickling your balls.
Tickling your balls. Since you're just sitting there, oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts. Why did you laugh just now? You'll find out. Just wait. They're all like, oh, God. We have beans every night for dinner, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Now, since the pelvic floor region contains major nerve pathways, the victim would more than likely feel intense radiating pain during the process. Numbness, or loss of numbness.
I'm on
numbness. I have this problem where I look at 5 words at the same time and I put them all together and make new words. That's the future of communication, everybody. We're going to take long sentences and we're just going to make one word for that long sentence. We're going to make new words. You got to figure out what the fuck it means. And I'm starting now with numbness. Numbness or loss of sensation. Chronic pelvic pain syndrome, neuropathy, tingling, or burning sensations that last for days or weeks. And in severe cases, sexual dysfunction. Which, I mean, if you're in the military and you're out there with a bunch of dudes, that I don't know.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, you do what you got to do. Now, because the weight would compress major blood vessels, restricting flow to and from the legs, you could get swelling, bruising, and pooling of blood, and in the worst cases, more likely when weights were added, ischemic injury or reduced oxygen supply to the tissue. And if left long enough without oxygenated blood, the leg can quickly become damaged, which can rapidly progress to irreversible tissue death, necrosis, or gangrene, and require amputation. However, if the blood flow is restored, a second, often severe wave of inflammation and oxidative stress can cause even more damage to the affected tissue, requiring, again, amputation. We got you off there just in time. You don't have to cut your leg off. Ah, now it hurts worse. Fuck, still got to cut your leg off. All I did was steal a few chickens. This feels like a disproportionately cruel type of punishment, sir.
And they're sitting there eating chicken while they're
they're eating the chickens that you stole. Aren't those the chickens I stole? Well, they can't be put back into general population. They've been taken out now. They don't know what it's like in there. They're feral. We got to kill them. Got to cull the herd. Eat them chickens. Which everybody knows you save.
Canadian fried chicken right there.
Yeah. Which everybody knows you save the chickens. You eat the eggs.
That's
survival. That's survival 101. Now, holding your body in a forced straddle position like this could cause serious musculoskeletal strain, hip joints and lower back strain, pelvic misalignment pain, and muscles tearing in the inner thighs, which could result in difficulty walking, prolonged soreness, muscle spasms, and ligament sprains. And then there are other possibilities, although rare, of full-blown inguinal hernias. Abdominal contents.
Full-blown what?
Hernias.
No, is that inguinal?
Inguinal hernias. Abdominal contents pushing through weakened muscle walls. And tearing of the pelvic floor. In the Jesuit Relations, they wrote of a man that was put on the wooden horse for the sin of gluttony. The details are sparse, but it said that, quote, a man was put on the Chevalet, on which he was ruptured. Now, the rupturing most likely means severe internal tearing or hernia. I read he was put on the thing and he was ruptured. It's like he blew up. What the fuck?
He was so big, the pointy thing went.
He just blew up like when a bullet hits a car.
Yeah.
Now, there are also the psychological offense, mental trauma caused by acute pain and distress during the punishment, humiliation from public exposure, and long-term anxiety in survivors. But, that comes with it. You're going to be mentally scarred from pretty much anything that happens to you for the rest of your life. So I'd say just get over it. Move past it. I'm so scared. I had to sit on the donkey. Yeah, so did like half the people here. Deal with it, motherfucker.
The entire Roman army are at the time just like fucking.
Yeah, they're all fucking chicken walking. Go build a bar or something. Make a tavern out of it. God, come on, get yourself together. So the question stands: could you die from this? Well, probably not.
Well,
maybe
gangrene goes untreated.
Yeah, maybe,
Spreads.
But doubtfully. It was unlikely to die from a single short stint on the donkey. If you're only getting like 15 minutes or an hour on there, I mean, chances are as low as they could possibly be. If you're spending days on there, then yeah, but we saw people died in the stocks and pillory when they were put on there for days. And, so, I mean, anything you do for that long. But as far as we know, there are no documented cases of anyone dying. However, if a hernia and its complications go untreated, one could experience bowel strangulation, which could lead to sepsis, which could lead to death. Severe vascular damage could result in shock.
So my ass can't breathe. God damn it.
There's a chance of a pretty nasty infection.
All the gas.
Like, was it Violet Beauregard and Willy Wonka turns into the blueberry?
Yeah.
Then
you finally get released and you're like a balloon being set off.
Really, they take you off.
Smelly balloon.
Up into the air. Some new recruits watching it going, oh my God. And everybody else is like, yeah, it happens 3-4 times a week now. You'll get used to it.
So fucking
there's a chance of pretty nasty infection in that part of the body if there's any tears from the punishment. And as always, if left too long in a predicament like this, you could die from dehydration, exhaustion, or exposure. But again, there are no strong documented case showing that this was a killing device. Now, there are some people might go look this up. Some people might be like, well, I'm going to go see what I can find. And that's fine. Do your research. Whatever. I just need to preface. There are some sites on the interwebs and displays at exhibitions at museums that tell of spikes being added to the wood. Yes, if you go to some of these museums and look up pictures on Google, you will find Spanish donkeys with spikes attached. But you will also find skull crushers and lead sprinklers. And even though you can clearly see them, it doesn't mean they were used or even existed at the time.
One side known that people at that fucking museums and all this, they had an awful lot of these things purpose made.
Yeah.
For their show, and they make them look worse than they are. So I don't think there's be anything worse than walk into a torture museum and all you see is just this wooden triangle. You know what I mean? Most people are like, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like
so you gotta add spikes.
It's like a shit bench. You know,
set it on fire, put some rats on there or something. It's like, I believe we talked about it in our Cat's Paw episode, that, they have things special, or Iron Maiden episode, actually, where people of the time started making them because they were commissioned by museums, because they were scary to look at. So
I'm literally looking at pictures of someone with spikes on it right now.
Yeah. Great big pieces of wood with big fucking nubbins of spikes on them. Yeah.
Why
they're not hard to find.
Might have been the worst medieval torture device you've never heard of. I'm very sorry. It is not the worst.
It's not. I got a long list on here that I could give you that would be the worst.
The alligator shears are worse. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no shit.
That's not me being biased or anything.
That's fact. Now, one site even goes as far as to say that sharp. I did that again. I went to say, and I looked at sharpened metal, and I went touche.
Oh, touche.
Touche. One site even goes as far as to say that sharpened metal was attached to the top of the horse, and so when the weights were added to the legs, the body would then be, quote, cleaved in two. This is, as far as I can tell, complete bullshit. This isn't like, it's not like the Judas cradle, where you are lowered anus first onto this singular sharp point, lubed up for easy insertion. In order to cleave someone in two this way, the metal would have to be so sharp as to cut with constant pressure alone through your pelvic bone.
Yeah. And probably through your spine.
Yeah. Or at least, I mean, you could push, I guess it could push the spine, but yeah, it would have to pop all those ribs off. It'd have to go through all your organs, all your muscles. But getting through the pelvic bone itself from just constant being pulled, the amount of weight that would that would have to be added to your legs would be so high that your hips, knees, or ankles would give out and rip off long before that would happen. I mean, it might cleave through like your taint and your sack and your crack, but once you hit that pelvic bone, I mean, you're stopping. I mean, there's no getting around it.
And that's not too far up there, you know?
Yeah. And this the article I read about this, I looked at it and I was like, well, this is all bullshit. He also talked about how it was primarily used on women. This was not something that was ever used on women. I mean, a woman might have been used on it once or twice throughout history. I'm sure at some point a woman was set on a fence or a sawhorse, but this was almost strictly a military punishment. You want to go way back past the 1600s, back when they did it to laborers and slaves and stuff. I'm sure maybe a woman got put on there, but this was not something that, contrary to what a lot of the torture devices we've talked about on this show, this was not something that was used on women. All right, this wasn't a breast ripper that was used on women. This was primarily for soldiers.
He's told you now, people.
Yeah. So fuck you, guy who wrote that one article that was full of shit.
Yeah, and fuck you whoever put Tic Tacs on top of it, whatever the fucking hell it was that they have sitting here. Saying it has spikes.
Yeah, there's no historical evidence that there's ever any metal or spikes used. This wasn't something that was used to purposely damage somebody. It was just made to be uncomfortable and humiliating, really, is all it was. Now, like some other methods and devices we've talked about, there was no real official end of the use of the donkey, no verified last case. Just in around the mid to late 19th century, it just kind of no longer appears in military law codes or disciplinary books in Europe or in America. It just kind of disappears, like all at once from everywhere, which is weird. Because most of these...
Aliens, just told you.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Most of these that we have covered, you can watch like the regression of how they're used. You can watch, oh, well, they stopped using it here, and then they stopped using it there, and then it was finally, gone there. But it's like after the Civil War, and we get most of that from memoirs, like 1860s, 1870s, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Gone.
Completely. From everywhere.
Just
Nobody
fell out of
uses it
favor.
anymore. Yeah. Like all the generals all over the world got together. You'd be like, you know what? It's been a blast. I've loved it. It's been so much fun, but I think it's time to move on. I think this is like a McRib situation. We had it here for a while. Now we take it away.
It's a COVID home baking situation. That's what it is.
This is white women in the Midwest with their sourdough starters. It was fun for a while. Now it's time to put it away and never look at it again. Like many of my wife's hobbies, it was fun for a while, and then all of a sudden one day you decide, I don't want to do that anymore, no matter how much money we've spent on it.
I just came across one of the funniest quoted things here that I've seen so far to do with the Spanish donkey. Now, you've probably already seen this.
Maybe.
This is actually something that actually came out this year. It says,
I don't.
In the dark chambers of 17th century Europe, the church's thirst for purity became a business of pain. The Spanish donkey, a wooden wedge engineered with medical precision. No, it's a fucking triangle of wood, probably just a piece they had lying around. They stuck on top of a thing. All right, nobody sat there with a protractor and fucking like sitting there measuring all these things out. So it has to be exactly 1.0592 degrees sharper.
It just cuts to a shot of a guy sanding, planing the side of a piece of wood.
Yeah, one of those Japanese planes as well as super paper thin accurate ones. Anyway, and then it says, split bodies while priests gambled on the survivors' screams.
No, that didn't happen.
Behind every confession lay a property transfer. Behind every death, a profit.
No, like, at least nothing I could find. No, that didn't happen.
This is a three-parter, the first of which is over an hour and a half long.
Really? Yeah. Oh, send that to me because I gotta watch it. I may have gotten this all completely wrong. Who knows? I doubt it, but
I guarantee you this has an AI voiceover. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
I can almost guarantee you this is an AI voiceover.
Pronouncing words the way they're spelled instead of correctly because it's AI and it doesn't know any better.
Yeah, but it's usually prompted or written up by some idiot. So
yeah.
I got it from
all right. Well, and that brings us to Dan. Any pop culture? Were you able to find anything that's actual?
Yeah, well, yeah. So where is this here now? The thing is, though, is that the Spanish donkey has changed its meaning over time. There's actually a thing to do with Catalan donkey. That's something that became very popular in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. That is why, obviously, not a torture device. What it is a giant wedge-shaped vibrator that you sit your partner onto and hope it splits her in half. So there was an episode of in television called The Bastard Executioner.
Uh-huh.
Apparently in the first season of it, it was within an episode.
Okay.
It is very common apparently in dark history documentaries, but there's no direct exact thing that I can find. There's nothing on its like the wiki under either thing that I could find because there's a couple of wiki pages for it. There is obviously that video that I sent you, which seems to be complete bullshit. There was one other thing here where it's got apparently it's referenced in podcasts, which I won't bring up because they're our direct competition as far as I'm concerned. They can go fuck themselves. But it is referenced in the Torture podcast hosted by Kevin Young and Dan Hourigan.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Got to change our wiki now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where, like, it's not flashy enough. It's like
that's why they add spikes to it, because they got to make it worse than what it is.
It's the sort of thing that I could see them using in a Monty Python sketch or in a movie or whatever, as one of these things that's not directly seen, that's kind of there in the background, and it's like, if you know, you know, kind of thing, as opposed to, but yeah.
Or it's just like a pan across the dungeon. You see like Michael Palin in the back, just kind of riding it. Like, hey, you're not supposed to like that. Oh no, it hurts so bad. He keeps riding it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's not really, it's not really much to go off with it, sadly, in that sense. Like I said, I just don't think it's not sexy enough.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It's not. It's almost like
we can make it sexy though.
We're trying, God damn it. It's like serial killers almost, where there's that sweet spot of you're either it's sexy enough to pique your interest, but not so gruesome to turn people off. That's why The Rack is good, because it's that definitely hurts, dislocated arms and legs and horrible pain, but it's not, like I've said a couple times on this episode already, the Judas Cradle, where you're getting shit and blood. And getting literally torn in half. Yeah, nobody wants to talk about those. But you also go the other way. You don't want to talk about just a piece of wood you're sitting on. That's not,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, they're not going to go doing a just a guy tickling somebody's feet with a feather. Like, I mean, it's... I know that's not
300 years ago, one man was mildly inconvenienced and uncomfortable for a few minutes. This is torture. It's not like,
one feather.
Thank you to our patrons, Willow Quinn Fowler, Sam and Molly Mitchell. You can sign up as well, patreon.com/torturepod. 1 week of our cult leader tier for free. You can go to torture.podview.com to connect with us on all the socials, and you can find wherever you want to listen on there. You can email us from there, torturepod@gmail.com. We also have a new Facebook page. I went ahead and said fuck it and made a Facebook page. If you want to... I don't know how much it's going to get used, but I figured that we're leaving out a big part of social media by not having one. So I made one. I will try to post on it whenever it fancies me. I haven't been living up to the whole social media thing over the past, year or so. But I really need to get somebody to run our social media. And I was going to have my wife do it. I was going to be like, hey, you want to just do this for us? But she watches our granddaughter right now, and she is exhausted. So I probably will not be asking her to
get the accounts mixed up, and it'll be like loads of pictures of the grandkid, and then...
grandkids on torture, and then the most ungodly, disgusting things on her Facebook page.
Yeah.
Buymeacoffee.com/torturepod to donate. Redbubble.com/people/torturepod for merch. All Pride merch profits donated to the Trevor Project. Go rate, review wherever you can. Thank you to our sponsors. You can support us by supporting them. Hint for our next episode: the American government has done some really bad things, and this is one of them. It's not
like that. Like,
could be 12 different fucking things. So,
my God.
Yeah. Dan,
I think I know what it might be.
We talked about it earlier. I think we should know. We did.
I don't know.
We did.
Was it within the last 5 minutes?
Anybody who listened to the pre-show, if I left that in. I don't know if I left that part in of the pre-show or not, but if I left that in of the pre-show, there it is.
I've still forgotten what it is. So.
Yeah, that was an hour ago. How is he supposed to remember this stuff, people?
I don't even know what we just covered, okay?
We said Judas Cradle a lot. I'm pretty sure it was the Judas Cradle we covered again.
Sounds like medieval fleshlights or some shit. I don't know.
Dan, any words of wisdom?
Yeah, if you ain't first, you're last.
Nah, man, you can be third. You can even be fifth.
Guess what I'm going to watch later.
Oh, yeah.
No,
if I have
should
time.
know left-hand turns.
If I have time. All right, everybody. That's all we got. Have a big, I don't know if it's a big series, but it's going to be a series coming up. So, pretty excited about it. Actually, not excited about it. It's not fun, but things need to be talked about. So
Ain't going to be Nan King levels of fun, but...
Yeah, no, it's not going to be that bad, but it's still not great.
I was watching a show and they referenced Nan King. What happened very briefly, you just literally was a passing comment, and I kind of had a little shudder moment. I was like, no. No.
Start throwing tomatoes at your television screen.
Damn you,
Bob. Like, I don't want to hear it. Never again. Thank everybody for coming back and listening. The big turnout for the Zorg Massacre. Really appreciate it. And sticking with us after all that time off. It was nice.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah. Apparently we're rating in history in a couple countries like Cambodia or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. So,
like Cambodia.
yay us. I'll have to look it up exactly where we're at.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I got an email saying, hey, you're rating, and it was like Iceland and Cambodia and maybe one other place. It's like, that's fucking cool. Good for us.
Cool. They talk funny in Iceland. It's like Dutch, but slower.
I suppose they do. We're rating in Iceland. Oh, nice. They talk funny there.
Hey, look, if they're already listening, they should know already. Okay?
Well, you got dozens of people in Iceland going, they're talking about us!
Yeah.
Or however weird they would say it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.